afternoon. Welcome to the Noorda Theatre. I am Dr. John Newman, the director of the Noorda Theatre Center here at UVU. And we welcome you to the Noorda Theatre Summer Camp production of Gathering Grimm. We want to make just a few announcements before we begin. We would ask you at this time to turn off any of those machines that were not invented before the year 1810. We would also remind you that the exits are right behind you by the green exit signs. So in the event of fire or fire alarm, please exit through those doors to the outside. If any of you missed our announcement at the beginning, we were hoping to be able to do the live stream through UVU TV today. However, we are recording this performance with a beautiful 3-camera shoot, and we will be making those discs available and mailing those out to all of our cast members early next week. And so they'll be able to see any of those folks that are out there in TV land will be able to see the same thing that they would have seen by live stream just a little bit later. So we thank you for your patience and understanding. We are trying to forge that connection for this evening, which would be at 7 o'clock, and it would be at uvu.edu/UVUTV under events. It's a brand new system, it's a brand new technology, and we appreciate your patience as we get this up and running so we can use this for all of our future productions. We would also like to invite you after the show to join your cast members in the lobby. You're welcome to take photos, and then they'll be coming back and joining us for a photo call so we can have some great quality pictures of the event, which we'll be sending out to the families as well. And or you are also welcome to join us. I know we have a group that will be joining us here for a post-show discussion, and you'll be welcome to do that. We'll have some members of the cast, and that'll be facilitated by Ms. Eileen Nagel. And so that'll be right here in the theaters. After everyone kind of clears out, you'll come down to the front seats, and we'd love to have you join us for that. With no further ado, we thank you for joining us here at the Noorda Theatre, and we proudly present Gathering Grimm.
I'm bringing you home today. I hope I wasn't much of a burden.
Lottie Grimm, you are a blessing. You cooked and cleaned and cared for the baby.
Babies are easy. Brothers are hard.
You're too young to be caring for 5 brothers.
I promised my mother before she died. Jacob told me to bring back stories. I have nothing to give him.
You came to Marburg for a rest.
I found a story, but I'm not going to give it to him.
I heard one last week. Perhaps if I told you.
Don't tell my brothers any more stories. Not unless they acknowledge those who told them.
Very well. Persuaded me. Now let me persuade you. Come to the ball with my sisters tonight.
I told you, Gretchen, I can't.
Do you need a gown? Hannah could lend
Jacob won't go, and he won't let any of us either.
He is King Jerome's personal librarian. People will expect him at the ball.
He hates the French king and hates all his French armies. He wants them out of German lands.
Yet he's learned to hold his tongue.
It's the one thing we have in common. The apartment will be in ruins.
Perhaps they've learned to take care of themselves.
Only a sister would care for the brothers Grimm.
Holy cutters, man! Give me back my cucumbers, man! Come on, guys! Hey, I gotta pay my rent. I can't! What? I got my brother. Come on, guys.
You wanna play
It's my
this
last
game?
day.
Lottie's here.
I don't care. Lottie! Welcome home.
Wilhelm, another remedy? Orders from the doctor.
A doctor who must be paid.
Wish I could earn it myself.
Lottie, we need your stories from Marburg.
It's good to see you too, Jacob.
She went to Marburg to rest.
She promised to bring back stories.
You promised to keep the apartment clean.
We can't keep a servant, sister.
Oh, you've made your sister a servant. I'm a maiden, not a maid.
We don't think of you as a maid, Lottie.
If we did, we'd fire you. Look at this mess.
You could help me clean it up.
Really, sister, we're men of letters.
Some of us are. You and Ferdinand dropped out of school.
To help support the family.
Ludwig, what are you doing?
Painting?
In your best shirts.
Honestly, Ludwig, Lottie will have to clean it.
Look at your own shirts. You could at least iron your collars.
We like the way you do it.
Is that my only purpose in this family? To care for my brother's shirts?
No, of course not. Your purpose is to care for your brothers. Now listen, Lottie. I can't find any of my folktale manuscripts.
I'm surprised you could find the furniture.
Lottie, this is urgent.
Why?
Didn't Jacob write you?
I doubt you could find a pen.
Rentano wants to publish our stories.
All of them?
As many as I can find before he leaves tomorrow. Go search the study. Here's the list. I've marked the ones we're missing.
Is this your purpose? These authentic tales come straight from the hearts of peasant cottages.
Cleaned our study before you left.
The hearts of peasant cottages? You heard them in our neighbors' parlors.
You know my filing system better than I do.
I would like to thank my professors at Marburg for encouraging me in this project. You make it sound... But you named everybody from the university.
I need them to buy my book.
But you don't think the answer told the stories.
Lottie, go into the study.
These tales, faithfully recorded from the lips of native tellers, preserve the heritage of the German people. You make it sound like you heard them from peasants.
Your friends heard them from servants, and their servants heard them from peasants. Lottie, I need to find my stories.
And my friends need to be named.
Lottie, did you hide the manuscripts?
Did you steal them?
Did you burn them?
If you did, I'll burn you at the stake.
Jacob, this is our sister we're talking about.
And I'm talking about the fortunes of our family.
I'll show you where they are when you show me some respect.
You took them, didn't you?
You took them from my friends. I introduced you to them and you robbed them of their stories.
Your friends gave them freely and never asked for any recognition.
You meant, you boys, do as you please and take what you want. Well, for once, I'm telling you no. Find the table, I'll fix us some supper. Then I'm going to the ball.
What?
The ball of King Jerome, Napoleon's Doomkopf brother.
It's better than saving for my own Doomkopf brothers.
I forbid it.
If you want me to find the stories, then you'll let me go.
Then go. Fall in love with a Frenchman. See if I care.
If he's kinder than you, then vive la France!
Lottie, do you know what these stories mean to the Germans?
Do you know what they mean to my friends?
These stories can make us a people.
They remind us we're German, so we can drive out the French.
Beethoven fights them with music. We'll fight them with our stories.
We can't fight the French. Jacob serves the French king. That makes all of us French.
I hold my nose and I do what I must to care for my brothers and sister.
And I'll hold my nose and do what I must to care for my brother's sister. I won't fall in love with a Frenchman, Jacob, but let me be a lady, just this once. Then I'll be your servant till my brothers grow up.
She knows how to make an exit. Should be on stage.
Staying with Gretchen was supposed to calm her down. Now she's angrier than before.
She has good reason.
Wilhelm, don't take her side.
What if she refuses to find the manuscripts?
Rentano will never publish our stories.
Then we'll gather the stories from the girls who told them.
Unless Lottie gets to them first.
It's not fair, Mimi. I want to see the fireworks too.
I'm sorry, Dorchen. Father said you're too young. Next year you'll be old enough. Rudolph gets to go.
Because I'm a boy.
Boys are lucky. Girls have to be safe. I don't want to be safe. I want to be free. I have an idea. Rudolph, meet me at the Grimm's. Ferdinand will leave without us. I'll hurry. Father doesn't want you going out alone. I won't be alone.
Who will be your escort?
Go! Oh, thank you. Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah. You ought to come with us, Gretchen. Mother would care for the baby. No, Lisette, not without my husband. He should have come with you from Marburg. He hates dancing. And he hates the French. I'm glad your husband is taking you.
Maybe I'll find a husband tonight. Who wants a husband, Hannah? I just want to dance and dance.
Put your gloves on, Rose. The carriage should be here by now.
What will you do while we're gone?
I'll sit by the ashes and feel sorry for myself.
Really?
That's what Ashpuddel did, but she didn't have a baby.
Who's Ashpuddel?
I can't believe you haven't heard her story. I heard it from the story lady of Marburg.
I heard it from our friend
French teacher, but he called her Cendrillon.
I heard it from her English teacher, but she called her Cinderella. Tell me her story. The carriage is late. Tell her, Gretchen.
Very well, as long as the baby stays asleep. As the wife of a rich man was dying, she took one last walk in the garden with her daughter. Dear child, always be good and righteous. Providence will help you, and I will watch over you. After her mother's death, the daughter went faithfully to tend her grave. Snow covered the grave like a white blanket, and when it had melted, her father had married a widow with 2 daughters of her own. They had beautiful features, but selfish hearts. You stupid goose! You should be taking care of us!
That wrap of yours would look better on me.
They took away her beautiful clothes and dressed her in rags.
Just look at the fine princess.
How decked out she is.
They nagged her from morning to night.
Carry water.
Make a fire.
Cook our breakfast.
Wash her clothes.
And pluck these peas and lentils from the ash.
The maiden said nothing, working long into the night and falling asleep in the ashes.
You dirty, dusty thing. Wake up and fix our breakfast, Ashpuddel.
One day, the father was going on a journey, and he asked each of his daughters what he would like them to bring it back for him.
Dresses and pearls.
Jewels and shoes. Just bring me a twig that brushes against your carriage.
When the father returned home, he gave each of the daughters what they wanted. While the stepsisters reveled in their new finery, Ashpuddel took the hazel branch, planted it on her mother's grave, and watered it with her tears until it grew into a magical tree. One day, news arrived at the house.
The king is giving a ball. Every young lady in the kingdom must come so the prince can choose his bride. Ashpuddel, comb my hair.
Brush my shoes.
Tie my corset.
Iron my gown.
We're going to a ball.
May I go with you?
You, Ashpuddel? You're dirty and dusty. You wish to go to the ball?
The king's order says every young lady.
Does she look like a lady? How can she dance when she has no proper gown?
I have the one with
How
the
can she dance when she has no proper shoes?
I could lend her the... If I make myself presentable and first take care of you, may I go?
Not even if you are dressed in gold.
Now, sister, let's be fair. I'll empty this bowl of lentils into the ash. She can pluck them all out before the carriage comes.
Then yes, you may come to the ball. She'll be covered in ash from head to foot.
Pigeons, robins, turtle doves, and all the birds under heaven. Take the lentils from the ash while I attend my sisters.
So the birds removed the lentils, while Ashpuddel prepared her sisters.
Ashpuddel, you asked, so may I go to the ball? The lentils are back in the bowl, sister. We can't refuse.
She did the task, but look at her. She disgraces at the ball.
Then lend me your meanest garment and loan your plainest shoes.
You could have asked for jewels and shoes, but instead you asked for a branch. Your foolishness will cost you. Be content with what you wished.
There's the baby.
Finish the story, Gretchen.
I'll be right back.
Let me help you. She can't leave me in suspense. Rose, you're going to a real ball. And I won't be able to enjoy it until I hear the rest.
I'll tell it to you. I heard it from my French teacher. Ashpuddel wept bitter tears and ran to her mother's grave. There, she was comforted by her fairy godmother. The old woman paid no mind to the maiden's tears and ordered Ashpuddel to pick and empty a pumpkin, which she did without complaint. And the godmother changed it into a fine carriage. She asked Ashpuddel to catch 6 live mice, which she did with some difficulty, and the godmother changed them into fine white horses. The godmother touched Ashpuddel's worn-out dress, which the maiden carefully mended, and all at once it was changed to gold.
That's not the story I heard in Marburg.
Then how did Ashpuddel get to the ball?
She got a golden dress from her magical tree and walked all the way to the ball. At the ball, Ashpuddel was so dazzling that her stepsisters didn't recognize her. The prince approached her and took her by the hand.
May I have this dance?
And they danced the night away. Whenever anyone else asked the prince to dance, he would politely answer,
I I'm sorry. I've already found my partner.
Your Majesty, it has been a wonderful evening, but I must be getting home.
Let me escort you and keep you safe.
No, I can find my own way.
My lady, I insist.
Ashpuddel ran to her father's garden, where birds lifted away the golden dress. And when the stepsisters returned home, she was sitting in the ash in her dirty, dusty smock. But in her haste, she had left a golden shoe at the palace. The prince ordered every young lady in the kingdom to try on the tiny shoe. As the oldest stepsister tried to cram her foot into the shoe, she muttered, "I'll fit in the shoe if I have to cut off my toe." And so she did. The prince would have taken her away, except a pigeon from the hazel tree muttered,
Coo, coo, there's blood in the shoe. This is not the one for you.
So the prince returned the false bride. Ashpuddel cleaned the shoe, and the second stepsister tried it on her foot. Her foot was still too big, so her older sister tried to help. "You'll fit in the shoe if I have to cut off your heel." And so she did. The prince would have taken her away, except the same pigeon warned him. "Coo, coo, coo, there's blood in the shoe. This one is not the one for you." So the prince returned to the sister, and he would have left, except he looked into Ashpuddel's eyes, behind her dusky face.
Please, my lady, try on the shoe. I believe I have found my partner.
I know it will fit, for I'm already wearing its mate.
The baby's asleep. Let me go put him back down.
Finish the story. Did Ashpuddel marry the prince?
Well, of course she did. I didn't have to tell you that.
A maiden doesn't have to marry a prince just because he loves her. What happened to the stepsisters?
Ashpuddel frankly forgave her stepsisters. She housed them in the palace where they met and married two great lords, and they all lived happily ever after. Maybe in the French version, but not in the German. On the day of the wedding, the stepsisters came to appeal to the royal family and share in Ashpuddel's good fortune. But robins flew into the chapel and pecked out their eyes, thus punishing them forever for their wickedness.
A more memorable ending, I must say.
I like the French ending better.
The French believe in mercy, the Germans believe in justice, and justice makes better stories.
Jacob Grimm, how dare you waltz into our parlor?
I'm your next-door neighbor. Anyways, I came to borrow a folktale.
Or steal one? Have you been listening the whole time?
Yes, from the apothecary shop. Legally, it's a place of business, and a citizen has the right to stand there. I could hear you through the archway.
You were trespassing.
Eavesdropping, not trespassing. Law's on my side. I studied law.
The story isn't yours. You heard it from Gretchen.
Who heard it from the story lady of Marburg? Who heard it from who knows who? Nobody can own a story.
Then how can you sell stories to a publisher?
Because I'm a scholar, and you're not.
Because you're a man and I'm not. Lottie told us not to share any more stories. Give us your transcription of Ashpuddel.
Possession is the better part of the law.
Very well. You've taken one more story, but you'll never get any others. Agreed?
Agreed. Jacob, what are you doing here?
Well, Lottie, you look
Like something more than maid.
like you're living beyond our means.
I lent her the gown.
I lent her the shoe.
And I did her hair.
The Wilds are my fairy god sisters.
Lottie, I need to find my stories and prepare them for Brentano. He's coming to town for the ball. He's leaving tomorrow.
If Brentano can go to the ball, why can't I?
Very well. I'm cleaning the study. I found some story fragments.
They must not have been very useful if you came here trying to get more.
You're ruining her evening, Jacob.
I'm going. I got one story. Ferdinand may get more. He's going with Mimi and Rudolph to see the fireworks.
Wait, Ferdy's going with him? But you forbade us from going to the fireworks show. It's just King Jerome belching his power.
But if he goes, he might get a story.
Me won't tell any stories, and neither will Dorchin.
Dorchin! She'd go with them, did she?
Father said she's too young.
But boys her age are allowed.
You mean Mimi disguised her? I'll make sure Father doesn't find out.
Tonight, I'll pretend I'm a lady. Dorchin will pretend she's a boy. Guess we'll have more fun.
Here we are, Mimi. This spot in the park. You shoot the fireworks from that tower.
Thank you for bringing us, Ferdinand. lucky didn't catch you, Dorchin. Boys have all the fun.
And all the responsibility.
That's right. We need to take care of the girls.
Take care of us? Are you joking? Who does the cooking and the cleaning and the mending?
But you don't have to work.
You're right, Rudolph. We should be grateful pets of men who keep us.
And women don't have to go to war like men do.
Do you think you'll be drafted, Ferdy?
Probably, unless I volunteer. Then I'll be ready.
I'd be willing to go to war. Really, Dorchin? See other places, shoot a gun, roll in the grass.
March in the mud, sleep in a tent, lose a leg.
But boys get to have adventures like the soldiers do. Stories. Girls just get to be rescued.
What about you, Mimi? Would you go to war?
I'd fight to save my family if there were any boys around.
What if they made you fight for the French?
They couldn't make me do that, could they?
You make my brothers and I. Jacob works for the French. 20 of us be drafted.
Lottie won't be drafted, will she? She's safe because she's a girl.
Girls are separate cannons, but not from kitchens. And boys can choose their lives. Girls can only wish.
Stop pouting. Remember why we're here.
We're here so Ferdy can steal a story. Most boys just steal kisses. Only the naughty ones.
You won't try to kiss her while she's dressed like that.
Fireworks. But while we're waiting...
While we're waiting, I might as well tell you a story.
Better than kissing him.
I wasn't expecting that.
Then why did you bring your notebook?
Jacob needs a good story, and you tell the best ones of all.
Aw, how can I resist your flattery? Lottie, told us to not give any stories, not unless we get acknowledged.
Don't you understand, Mimi? Jacob can't name you. You're schoolgirls.
A story's a story, no matter who tells it.
Scholars want stories from peasants.
We're not peasants. We're middle class like you.
Is that why Jacob doesn't say who told them?
Well, maybe I could...
Dorchin! Don't be shy, Lottie!
I'll sweeten the deal.
Where did you get an orange?
From Ludwig's food bowl.
The one he's painting?
The one he's been trying to paint.
He'll be furious.
It's round and orange. He can paint a circle. A stolen orange for a stolen story.
Very well. Dorchin, it's not for the orange. It's so schoolgirls can hear it. Once upon a time, one wishing still helped, there lived a king's daughter more beautiful than the sun itself. When the days grew hot, she would go into the deep, dark forest, sit by a nice, cool pond, and toss her golden globe into the air. She loved her precious globe, so whole and perfect. But one day, it slipped from her fingers and sank into the glistening water.
What's the matter, princess? Your tears can move a stone tooth.
Go away, you splashing frog. I'm crying because I've lost my golden ball.
What would you give me if I returned it safe and whole?
My gown, my pearl necklace, my jewels, my golden crown.
I have no use for such things, but if you let me eat at your table, drink from your cup, rest on your cushion, I will return your lost treasure,
I promise all you ask.
and I will help you.
Stupid frog, does he think I keep a promise to him?
Here it is, princess. Perfect and whole.
My golden globe, give it to me. And the princess ran back to the palace, forgetting all about her promises.
What are you doing with you?
That evening, as the princess dined with the king, there was a knock at the palace door.
Oh, my princess, let me in. Have you forgotten what you vowed?
Daughter, there's a frog at the door.
A frog, you say?
Yes, he insists on dining with the princess. He claims that you invited him. Did you invite a frog to dinner?
Oh, father, I had to save my golden globe. I promised whatever he asked.
A promise made is a debt unpaid. Dine with your frog and be grateful.
Squish, splash, squish, splash, up the marble steps. Squish, squash, squish, squash. It sat in the king's own chair. Help yourself, you slimy beast.
My hands can't swim. but they can't hold a spoon. You'll have to feed me.
I won't feed a frog.
But I'll take back your treasure and leave.
Very well, I'll keep my promise.
Most tasty. Now give me wine till I sit down. Most refreshing. Now let me rest on your cushion.
Rest on the floor, you nasty croaker. And with that, the princess dashed the frog to the floor. When he emerged, the frog was now a handsome prince. For the curse that had been on him was now broken. A man will always be a frog until a woman breaks him. A man will only be a prince because a woman makes him.
Take it, Dorshin. You can do whole without me, but I can't do whole without you.
Well, that's supposed to be romantic. What's he talking about? Ferdinand is in love with me.
Since when? I've always been fond of you, Dorshin.
And I've always loved Wilhelm. What does it matter? You're too young to get married anyway. And you're too young to be talking of love.
Young love is strong because it's nothing more than feeling.
If nobody's going to eat this, I will. Look, fireworks!
How did you know I loved you?
Maidens always know when they are loved.
See why you love Wilhelm. No one could ever love Jacob.
The Grimms and Wilds are like brothers and sisters.
Maybe that'll change one day.
Maybe one day, but not today. Did you see that one? It was enormous!
Jacob says fireworks are the king's way of flaunting his power.
They're powerful, but they're also beautiful. Stories are beautiful, but they're also powerful. Blue, white, and red, like the French flag. Where are your brothers tonight?
Seeking stories from other maidens.
Oh.
You don't love Ludwig or Karl, do you?
Tell me a story, Bertie.
Once upon a time there was a frog who wanted to be a prince, so he will dance with a princess.
Here, have some orange. I'm sorry my sisters were out so late. I thought they'd be home by now.
Oh, why are you spinning flax, Suzette? Your family can afford to buy cloth.
Why do you paint pictures, Ludwig? Your family isn't enough on its walls.
I paint because it gives me pleasure. Do you enjoy spinning?
Father likes to keep us busy, and my husband feels the same. Are they home yet, sister? No, Amelia, and you're supposed to be in bed. You promised me I could see them when they got home. I expected they'd be home earlier. You should have gone with them. Then who would have stayed home with you? Tuma from here! Petra, Shamelk, and Oli.
Do you still speak French in the home?
Father makes us remember we're French. That's why the Germans don't like us. Still wait, sister. I might as well see them. Amelia Hasselblad, it is improper for a young lady to appear before a gentleman in a nightgown. Zanzibar and Côte d'Ivoire. Zelle is a partiality
What did she say?
She is no young lady. And you, Ludwig Grimm, are no gentleman. Very well, Amelia. You can stay up with us. I wish I could have gone to the ball like Ashpuddel. Then my fairy godmother could have made me a ball gown. And made you 7 years older. Enjoy being young. Soon you'll be married like me. But then I'll have my prince. And you'll have to obey him. My prince doesn't allow me to tell stories or go to balls. He thinks it's not respectable. If I had my prince, I would have to be pretty. Tu es assez jolie. Don't lie to me, sister. My eyes are crossed and my nose is crooked. Princesses have to be beautiful.
I'm sorry we were out so late. We didn't want to leave.
I've never had so much attention from gentlemen before. It's because you're pretty, Marie. It's because I speak French. Napoleon's officers hate to speak German. Jeanette speaks French too, but they talk to you because you're pretty. Amelia's afraid she won't get a husband.
You wouldn't want one now. You're green fruit. You you need to ripen.
No, Jeanette, I'll still be a sour apple when I grow up. Ludwig, what are you doing here?
I'm looking for a folktale.
Why? Did you leave one here?
Checking the bookcase. Father might have put it there.
Mr. Brentano has offered to publish their stories if we get them to him by tomorrow.
Women rarely get to be authors. I'd love to see my name in print. Jeanette Hassepflug.
The stories will be published as the tales of Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm.
It sounds like they're leaving someone out.
Exactly! They don't give credit to their younger brothers.
Or to Lottie.
She doesn't help.
She introduced you to us.
You know, they ought to credit the stories to the Brothers Grimm.
Or to the brothers and sisters Grimm. Aren't we your honorary sisters? I'm gonna publish my own stories when I grow up. A girl can't publish, keep property, or keep her family name. It's not fair, Marie. No man ever promised life would be fair.
I'm sorry to be here so late, but I need another story.
Do you want a happy ending or a sad ending?
A happy one, with a happily ever after.
Then you should ask Jeanette.
Jeanette, do you have any stories you haven't told us?
I have one, but you'll claim it as your own.
Lottie warned us about her brothers. Don't share it, Jeanette. It's yours.
It won't have a woman's signature, but it will have a woman's marks.
Very well. There's a story from France that our grandmother told us.
It can't be French.
You can say that you heard it in Germany.
Jeanette and Marie are home, Amelia. You promised to go to bed.
No, Suzette, she needs to hear this one. In times of old, there's a beautiful queen,
Queens are always beautiful.
and her baby girl is just as pretty.
Babies are pretty until they're grown up.
The time came for the christening. There are 13 wise women in the kingdom, but she only had plates for a dozen, so she could only invite 12. The wise women blessed the baby with gifts. One gave her wisdom, and another gave her grace.
Did any of them give her beauty?
One gave her crooked nose to keep her safe from shallow men.
You made that part up.
When the 11th had bestowed her gift, the 13th wise woman appeared.
On her 13th birthday, the girl will prick her finger on a spinning wheel and fall.
The queen was devastated and held her daughter close, but the 12th wise woman had not yet given her gift.
The princess will not die when she pricks her finger, but will sleep until true love awakens her.
They named the princess Briar Rose and destroyed all the spinning wheels in the kingdom. The wise woman's words proved true. The girl was polite, kind, and sensible, like you. On the princess's 13th birthday, the queen rejoiced that the danger was almost past. She gave the princess a key that opened every door in the palace. The princess wandered the twisted corridors and explored every room and chamber. The princess opened the door to the watchtower and found the wise woman winding thread around a spindle.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm winding, my dear. I'm winding.
What is that strange thing you're holding?
And the princess reached out to touch the spindle. She pricked her finger and fell to a deep sleep. The wise woman thought she had succeeded and escaped as a thick hedge of briar roses covered the tower. The young maiden slept for 7 years. Any who approached the tower bloodied by the thorns until a worthy young prince appeared. After 7 years, a noble young prince approached the tower. He touched the thorns and buds began to bloom. As the hedge retracted, the princess awakened and went to the tower window. The prince and princess gazed at each other and began to fall in love. And the princess married the prince. Whether her nose straightened out or not, he never noticed, because he loved her completely, as all men should do.
Is that the way you heard it from your grandmother?
It's the way I had to tell it to my sister.
You can't just make up a folk tale. It has to be original, the way it's been passed down. We won't be able to use it. Good night. I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Wait, Ludwig, I have a story, and I swear it's the way I heard it from my German nursemaid. It's the story of the three spinners. Yes, I love that one. You start, I will help.
I told it to my husband on our wedding day. He was not amused.
Okay, tell it to me quickly. It's getting late.
There was once a maiden who did not want to spin, and no matter what her mother said, she refused. Finally, the mother hollered at her daughter.
Ugh! You're the laziest girl in the kingdom!
Just then, the queen strolled by the cottage.
Woman, why are you hollering at your daughter?
The woman was embarrassed to have a lazy daughter, so she told the queen,
No matter what I do, I can't get my daughter to stop spinning flax.
Oh, well, there's nothing I love more than the sound of spinning. Let me take your daughter with me to the castle. I have plenty of flax. She can spin as much as she likes.
And so the maiden went with the queen to the palace, where sat the girl at the spinning wheel.
Now, spin all the flax in this room by morning, and you may marry my son. Your industry is dowry enough. But if you fail, I'll shame you to the kingdom, and none shall ever marry you.
The maiden was terribly frightened, for she could have spun all that flax in 100 years. In her distress, she went to the window, looking for anyone passing by the castle. She saw 3 strange women. The first had a huge, broad foot. The second had a lip that hung over her chin. And the third had an enormous thumb. What seems to be the matter, young lady?
Can we be of any assistance? We could be extremely helpful. Alas, no one gives us a chance.
My dear ladies, the queen has ordered me to spin all this flax in the thread by morning. If I succeed, she'll let me marry the prince. But if I fail, she'll make a public example out of me. Oh, we could spin all that flax for you in no time at all.
But our help will come at a price. You must invite us to your wedding and claim us as your aunts.
If you do so, you shall live happily for as long as you're married.
You won't regret it, dearie. Do you accept our offer?
With all my heart. And so the maiden let the 3 women in. The first pedaled, the second lifted, and the third twisted, and never had anyone spun so quickly. By morning, the job was done, and the maiden was given to the princess as bride. However, the bride feared she'd be asked to repeat the task when she was married. On the day of the wedding feast, the bride kept her promise and invited the 3 women to sit with her at the head table, claiming them as her head. The bridegroom looked at the first woman and said,
How did you get such a large, flat foot?
From peddling the wheel, from peddling the wheel. And to the second he asked,
How did you get such a large slit?
From licking the flags, from licking the flags.
And to the third he asked,
How did you get such a huge, thick thumb?
From twisting the thread, from twisting the thread.
Upon hearing this, the prince was alarmed and declared,
Never shall my beautiful wife ever touch a spinning wheel again.
and the bride lived happily till the end of her days.
Now that's a story we can use. Brentano will love it. Thank you for sharing your stories.
You didn't write our stories down.
I recorded them in pictures, not words. That's the only way I can remember.
A servant should have pictures. How about yours?
Perhaps. Someday. But not today.
Come along, Amelia. I'll tuck you into bed.
My puzzle man.
Take long off the teeth. We've given the Grimms 2 more stories, but what did we get in return?
We've spared young brides from spinning their beauty away. Men can clean as well as women. It's not that 5 brothers can't keep house, but they won't keep house.
Nettie.
If the house is a mess, is it the fault of 5 brothers who are there or one sister who isn't?
It's hard to argue with her, Jenny. Where she lacks in tact, she makes up on logic. Thank you for inviting us. I was glad to find you in town. We came for the ball, and our aunt was good enough to put us up for the night.
But not good enough to provide us with breakfast? If you want our stories, you'll have to feed us.
There is a see me radiate your brilliance?
My apologies, Jenny. I'll hide my light under a bushel.
The brothers have a higher purpose in collecting our stories.
And Napoleon has a higher purpose in collecting our lands.
We enrich the stories with maidenly wisdom.
Then the men pass them off as their own.
I found some cold coffee and toast. That would be fine, Wilhelm.
How kind of you to give it to us rather than to the ducks.
Annette.
Even so, you won't get a story from me.
Annette thinks she can publish her own. A hopeful aspiration, if not a sensible one. I'll share one with you, Wilhelm.
And I'll enrich it with maidenly wisdom.
Very well. Listening. Don't you need to write it down? First I listen, then I write.
Jacob listens with a pen in his hand.
He could transcribe his own death sentence and not notice. Go ahead.
This is the story of the 12 dancing princesses. Once upon a time, there was a king with 12 daughters, each more beautiful than the next.
Which made the youngest one most beautiful and therefore most loved.
They all slept together in a large bedroom. Every night, the king bid his 12 daughters good night.
And sometimes he could even remember their names.
He took a key and locked them inside.
For he had to guard his possessions.
When the king opened the door in the morning, he saw that their new shoes had all been danced to pieces. The same thing happened every morning. When the king demanded to know what happened, none of his daughters would speak.
For what can a maiden call her own if she doesn't keep her secrets?
The king proclaimed that any young man who could discover the secret could marry the daughter of his choice.
But if the man failed, he'd never be allowed to marry.
Annette.
Would it be better if the man were killed? Continue.
Several princes accepted the king's offer. The man would stand guard in the princess's room, but the princesses would offer him wine, which put him to sleep. In the morning, the king would wake up the sleeping prince
And banish him to a lonely life.
The next night, the same thing happened with the next prince.
And since young men never helped one another, the trick worked every time.
Suitors came and suitors went,
And soon the land was filled with bachelor princes.
and every night the daughter's shoes had all been danced to pieces. Now it so happened that a poor soldier who'd been wounded in war and could no longer serve met an old woman on the road.
She told him of the king's challenge and warned him not to drink the wine. She then gave him an invisible cloak.
The soldier stood guard in the princess's room. The princesses offered him the wine. He pretended to drink it, but let it run down his shirt. In the morning, the princesses pretended to go to bed, and the soldier pretended to fall asleep.
The youngest opened the secret passage in the wall. She was the smartest and set her sisters free.
And that I'm not going to continue interrupting my story.
You mean improving your story.
Would anyone like some more coffee?
The youngest is always the smartest.
Smartest, perhaps, but not wisest. You lack discretion.
Toast is actually quite good.
Very well. We'll pretend the oldest is wisest.
You're telling a story?
And a foolish one, too. A soldier can't marry a princess. Well, you know that.
I believe we'll be going now.
Jenny, please. I want to hear how it ends.
Very well. Annette, no more interruptions.
No more than strictly necessary.
The eldest daughter led her sisters through the woods, along a glorious avenue of trees, whose leaves were made of silver that glittered and glimmered.
The soldier put on the invisible cloak and followed silently behind.
On the other side of the woods stood a golden pavilion where drums and trumpets and violins could be heard, and the sisters danced through the night. Sister, I have a strange feeling that something will happen tonight.
You silly goose, you're always afraid. Would you rather be safe than free?
been danced through, the sisters prepared to return to the palace.
The soldier broke a branch from the silver tree, and it made a terrible crack.
Crack! Oh, someone's calling us.
Our secret will be safe unless one of us reveals it.
So the princesses danced with each other?
There were a few princes left to dance with.
Swan discovered their secret, but did he choose to reveal it?
Why wouldn't he tell the king?
But if he loved the princesses, he'd let them be happy and free.
Then he would always be lonely. This is a personal story, isn't it?
It's one we used to tell each other.
It changes each time we tell it.
You don't want to share it.
Why keep it to ourselves? It could bring hope to other maidens.
But it won't be ours anymore.
Do you want to continue?
Yes, but don't forget, it's a gift.
The sisters snuck back to the secret passage.
And the youngest daughter closed it.
The sisters crept back into bed.
But the soldier got back first.
You showed them the silver branch. One of you will accept my hand. I'll tell your father your secret. Not, I'll go my way.
Because he gave him a choice, the older sister loved him. They lived happily together.
And the youngest sister escaped and lived happily and free.
And the others danced in the palace each night until they found husbands who loved them.
That's not the way you heard it from your governess, is it?
Our version's better.
We're not writing stories. We're collecting folk tales. And these were part of when you first heard it.
I know.
Why'd you tell it that way?
And that makes me sleep well home alone.
If you don't mind risking your reputation,
Jacob is in our setting, though we're forbidden from disturbing him.
I'll banish myself into the kitchen. Isn't that where a maiden belongs?
I'm going. Please forgive my sister. She's just high-spirited.
It's more than that.
Think she's wicked?
She's bursting with intelligence. If she tried to contain it, she'd burst.
She'll have to contain it. She wants to marry.
She'll have to release it if she wants to write.
Right?
I'll let you make a name for herself. I've read her stories. If I'm any judge of writing, she'll succeed.
What about me? Am I not bursting with intelligence?
You learn to hold it aside.
So it dies inside me?
Grades and your manners, kindness, eyes.
Wilhelm, are you saying what I think you're saying?
No. You deserve someone who's healthy and strong, working as a widow, who shares your shoulders.
But a scholar like yourself.
This is until my father died.
What I like you, Wilhelm. You respect me.
They also respect social custom. Think of the story, Jacob. Said a princess can't marry
The soldier deserves companion.
I have my brother Jacob.
Tell me the story.
The best music is always made by families.
Carl Grimm! How did you find us here?
Jenny said you're staying at this hotel.
Lottie says you're stealing stories.
Collecting stories. Yes. I'm sorry. Am I interrupting?
No, it's good to see you, Carl.
We're spending some time with her violin.
How was the ball last night?
A suitor proposed to Winnie and father accepted.
Did you accept Winnie?
I didn't object.
He's not unknown to her, Sylvie.
I know you and your brothers better.
And now she has to lose her violin.
Lose your violin? Your family doesn't need the money.
It's something of a family tradition. It's father's way of clipping our wings.
My older sisters gave up their instruments when they got married. Now, I have to do the same.
Don't your sisters' husbands let them play?
Fern's husband does. Marianne's doesn't. We're ladies. We've learned to obey. Our husbands have to give us the instruments. We can't bring our own to the marriage.
Folk music is to your family what folk tales are to mine. You can't give up your music.
Didn't you sell your own violin?
I had to pay Willem's doctor bills.
Yes, we both understand our duty to family.
Father won't force you to get rid of it, Winnie.
But he expects me to do so. That's force enough.
I'm keeping my cello when I get married. He'll take both of us or neither. You say that now, Sophie, but wait till your time comes. You'll do the same as Winnie. Anna, just because you don't speak up doesn't mean I won't.
I'd never keep my wife from her music.
And it's too bad you didn't court me, Carl.
You know what Father says, Winnie. We must marry within our station.
But the Grimm brothers.
We may tell you stories, but you're below our social standing. Why does that matter?
The von Haxtausens have kept their place for 400 years because we've kept to our own.
I'm sorry to have disturbed you, Winnie. I won't take any more. You've given too much already.
No, Carl, please. Let's tell the story with music, like we did at the story circle.
But I don't have my violin.
Use mine.
It's a beautiful instrument.
As old as the songs it sings.
Which story should we tell?
The Bremen musicians, when we told it at the circle last week. Will you help me tell it?
Certainly. If Father doesn't find out.
A sad tune, Carl.
As you wish.
There once was an old donkey who, in her prime, bore bushels of grain to the mill. She was a strong and obedient servant, but as she reached the age of 20, her strength began to fail.
When she tripped in the road one day, her master declared she saw the poor donkey for glue.
The donkey declared, "If that's my fate, I shall strike out on my own. I still have my beautiful brain voice. Hee-haw! I've heard that in Bremen, they throw coins at the feet of musicians. I may be old, but I can still bring joy to others." And so, the donkey headed off toward Bremen. Hey-haw! Hey-haw!
She hadn't gone far when she came across an old hunting dog moaning by the side of the road.
Why the sad song, Sister Hound?
Because I've grown too old to hunt. In my prime, I could track a fox upstream or even through a marsh. But now that I'm old, I've lost my hunting nose. I couldn't track a fox if it leapt into my paws. I might as well perish and no further use of this world.
Well, you still howl beautifully. Why don't you come with me to Bremen?
And so the two of them set off.
Hey-haw! 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 Before long, they came across an old mouser cat who was screeching as if her tail were stuck in a ringer. Why the sad song, Sister Cat?
Your song would make a statue weep. In my prime, I used to look at a mouse, and the creature would fall over dead from fear. Now the mice steal my table scraps from right under my nose. My master plans to drown me in the river, and I'm too slow to run away. All I can do is lament my fate.
Well, why don't you come with us to Bremen?
We'll be the best musical trio the townsfolk have ever heard. So the three of us, we're off to Bremen.
Hey-haw! 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 Hey-haw!
By and by, they came upon a rooster who was crowing to wake the dead.
Why the sad song, Brother Rooster?
They make the sun go down rather than bringing it up. And it's mid-afternoon, not morning.
I used to wake the sun with my crowing. Soon I only woke the farmer. Now that I'm old and tired, I don't wake up until noon. My master plans to cook me for soup.
Why don't you come with us? We're going to Bremen town.
We're going to sing for our supper.
The merchants threw coins to make them stop. And the animals journeyed on as proud and paid musicians.
As the foursome headed down the road, it grew dark and they sought shelter in an old abandoned house. But as they looked in the window, they saw it was a hideout for robbers. As the animals approached the robbers' hideout, the donkey brayed. Hee-haw!
The dog barked. The cat screeched.
And the rooster crowed like an army trumpet.
And the battle ensued.
donkey settled in the dung heap.
The dog lay down behind the door.
The cat curled up on a rug by the fire.
And the rooster perched in the rafters. As they settled down, they began to sing to each other. Perhaps it wasn't a beautiful song,
Perhaps the townsfolk of Bremen would have done stuff differently.
but the foursome were happy, and they stayed together till the end of their days.
Excellent story. Did you hear it from your nursemaid?
Time and time again, she was once a beauty until she fell on harder times. She used to sing the songs and tell us stories.
Thank you for letting me play again.
Take it with you, Carl.
I can't. It's too fine. And your father.
You only said to sell it or give it away.
You could lend it to me. I'll keep it safe. Maybe your husband will let you play. And if he does, I'll return it to you.
If our stories had been different,
We'd have to live the story we were given.
Looks like we've gathered a dozen stories.
That's enough for a booklet, but not a book.
Did Lottie find the others?
She looked, but she refused to say if she found anything.
Do we really want to give these stories to Brentano?
Ludwig's right. He might change them to suit his own purposes.
That's why I've made a copy, and I'm keeping the copy with me. But we need Brentano to get our stories read.
And the maidens need us to get their stories heard.
He might not acknowledge us.
That would be poetic justice. Here's a clean shirt for each of you.
Thank you, Lottie.
If I can't provide you with stories, then I'll provide for those who gather them.
Are you sure you didn't hear any stories in Marburg?
I'm sure, but that doesn't mean I don't have a story to tell.
You found a story?
I've lived it. The tale of a silent maiden.
Then it's not about you. You're anything but silent.
Jacob. If you listen, I'll tell it to you. And you may tell it to the world.
I'm listening.
Listen with your ears and not your pen. There once was a young maiden whose 5 brothers were stolen away by an evil witch. The only clue she had when they disappeared were 5 white feathers on the lawn. She took the feathers, tossed them into the air, and followed them as they flew. She trailed them to the woods and to a cottage where they blew through an upper window. She climbed through the window, climbed under the bed, and cried for the brothers she had loved. At midnight, 5 great swans flew through the window, cast aside their feathers, and became her dear brothers. They said that they could only remain in their human form for a quarter of an hour each night. She cried, "What can I do to set you free?"
You'd have to go 5 years without speaking or laughing, and shirts for a sign of If a single word escapes your lips, your work will be for naught.
And so she knitted nettles into shirts.
She knitted while her fingers ached.
She knitted while the seasons changed.
She needed when the prince saw her beauty and took her to wife.
And she knitted when she was accused of witchcraft and sentenced to burn at the stake.
But as flames rose around her, her 5 brother swans appeared. She cast out the shirts, dropped them over each of their arms, and once again they were human. However, none of them would ever be completely whole, for she had never completed the sleeves, and each brother was left with a wing of swan, and he hid his imperfection.
Their sister told them to show their wings when laws allowed us to fly.
I'll go take care of your shirts.
Wait, I have something for you. Let's add this to our collection.
I know what it says.
Perhaps it will surprise you.
These stories are told by clever young ladies who heard them as children and who made them their own.
We owe these stories not to German wizards, but their sister stories.
The Wilds. The Hassenflugs. The Von Drosties. the Von Pack spouses.
As well as our true sister, Lottie.
You heard the stories from the servants. Now the stories will serve our people.
Our sisters, thank you. You know the truth, but you can't yet share it with the world. Here are your missing stories. You can put them on them.
Thank you. Who should we credit them to?
The brothers Grimm, and consider us all your brothers.
No one will remember your names.
Someday, the world will know them.
I'd like to use your story, Lottie.